Welcome, here is Christopher's discussion of Wildcard Weekend. Enjoy.
Like many of my fellow Eagles fans, I'm still finding it hard to accept that my Philadelphia Eagles are no longer in the playoffs, but I have to accept the reality that the game was played and we lost. While it is extremely difficult to win back-to-back in any sport, especially football, it becomes impossible when you fail to address issues plaguing the team all season long. I do not feel that the better team won this game. My Philadelphia Eagles were the more talented roster and experienced, winning at a higher level than this version of the 49ers team. The 49ers were a depleted team but played their hearts out. The more focused, prepared, and coached team did, unfortunately. The 49ers are resilient, coached with innovation, and have shown time and time again under Kyle Shanahan that they can win regardless of situation. Their team did not play consistently well, but they innovated when it mattered most. Congratulations to the 49ers. The better prepared team won. In sports and life, it always seems to be a consistent phenomenon that the issues we ignore are the ones that come back to impact us. They return to bite us in the behind. For most of the season, we knew that our opponents knew what offensive play was coming and that our plays were not dynamic enough. So on the biggest play of the game, we ran every potential receiver into coverage and threw to the triple covered option. I am far from an expert, but there were many moments in the game where it was pretty clear that they were simply rerunning plays without any changes. I could tell the formations were just flipped, as some pundits pointed. Like the play where Barkley had a good run early, but it was rerun many other times to no avail. No alterations or ability to throw in run formations or run and pass formations. I understand that there are limitations on how much you can change a scheme during the season, but it feels like our approach was simply our best against your best without really amplifying their skills and traits that makes our roster special. Kyle did that to help his depleted team play up to par. We just did the same thing and expected a different result. On the flip side, our defense played well overall, but missed some plays like those crossers that the Niners ran. If you recall, a couple weeks ago, they used those plays to defeat the Bears. I felt we should have been a little better prepared to at least stop a couple of them, but the defense was all right and many made up for mistakes. I think we have a special teams problem. If not for a missed extra point, we may have had the opportunity to kick for overtime rather than needing that touchdown. These missed kicks are happening too often lately, and many of these misses are not difficult for Jake Elliott in the recent past, especially in a season where kickers are hitting longer kicks more frequently with a change in the kicking balls. We must accept that every year is different. Players are not robots, and coaches are not plug and play. This is not the same quality of a roster as the team that had a run and won our second Super Bowl. We were not as healthy and had more holes as we needed to manage the cap by making decisions on costly veterans. There has to be change after failure to some degree, and we knew that the change would be on the offensive staff. Kevin Patullo will not be our offensive coordinator going forward. While some may celebrate the change, I think we must acknowledge that he faced a difficult challenge in learning a new position and skill set in an environment that required him to hit the ground running. In some situations, based on the experience and proven talent of a team, there is no room for anyone to learn on the job. We already experienced the same challenge with Brian Johnson, who was inconsistent during his team at the helm. It is hard to replace an offensive coordinator taking a head coaching job and bringing their top aides with them. To some degree, we need to get back to an offense that is more innovative, opportunistic, and controlling of the pace of the game. The ability to have long sustained drives that shorten the game and reduce opportunities for our opponents is important, while being explosive when we need to be. As Doug Peterson used to say, being multiple in our play design and play calling, where Jalen will have options and ability to check without the defense truly able to know whether a run or pass is coming. For our roster, I think we need to improve our pass rush, solve the second corner issue, and add some young talent to the offensive line. A big factor was the health of our offensive line, who had many key players miss games. We need to reinforce the most important aspect of our team. I know a lot of people are disappointed in A.J. Brown, but I think he is still a great talent and we need to bring him back in an offense that does allow him, Smitty, Barkley, and Goddard to thrive. Yes, I believe we need to resign Goddard. He had a great season overall for us, and we need some stability on that side of the ball. I accept that we got the results that were directly related to our performance, but I am not going to lose perspective and feel like the world is ending. I am not an expert, but the Eagles will still be a favorite for the NFC East next year. The Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders all have work to do in the offseason, but the Eagles should still have a better roster and greater experience than them. We have shown the ability to bounce back and let us prove the sports world wrong again. Many of the pundits do not like Philly, and that is perfectly fine. We just need to support the comeback and make them once again have to acknowledge us when our Eagles rise again. First, let us discuss the results. Josh Allen led the Buffalo Bills in the best performance of the wildcard round to win on the road against what appears to be a team on the rise in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Allen has to put the team on his back to win this year, which is wide open for him, if his team can stay healthy enough and rise to the occasion. Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams are regarded as one of the better teams in the field, but did not play that way consistently against the lowly Carolina Panthers, who unexpectedly won their division. The Rams had the game in control until they gave the Panthers life, but were able to win on a great late play. The Chicago Bears continue to be a second-half team. They played a horrible first half at home against their longtime rival in the Green Bay Packers. The Packers simply were unstoppable in the first quarter and entered the fourth with a 15-point lead, and they proceeded to give up 25 points in the fourth quarter alone. The Packers were a preseason favorite and ended up the 7th seed. They went all in and traded for Micah Parsons, who unfortunately did not finish the season. Their offense was inconsistent in spite of the plethora of young talent. They did not live up to the hype. The Chargers and Patriots probably had the least interesting game, but the Patriots did what they were supposed to do. Drake May did not have the greatest first playoff game, but he played better as the game went on. The Chargers continue to struggle in the playoffs with Justin Herbert, especially with all those injuries. And the Steelers succumbed to the league's best defense in the Houston Texans as many expected. Both my teams lost this weekend. Not a good feeling. But the Steelers just did not match up well and unfortunately kept up their winless playoff streak, despite continuing the streak of winning seasons. Next year they will have to do it without iconic head coach Mike Tomlin, who stepped down. Now, the divisional round of the playoffs will take place. The Denver Broncos and their stout defense will host the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. The Jaguars dismantled the Broncos to end their winning streak, and the Bills will probably have enough talent to do the same. I will pick the Bills in this matchup. The Patriots will take their chances with that vaunted Texans defense in Foxborough. Drake May did not shine in his playoff debut, and now he has a tougher task. The Patriots will probably be able to handle the Texans' offense, which is not that dynamic. I will pick the Patriots to win a close one. The 49ers will travel to Seattle to face the team that overall dominated them in Santa Clara to take the top seed in the conference. While some have doubts in Sam Darnold, the Seahawks are healthy and fierce. The Niners stop here as I believe the Seahawks will show that the final game was not a fluke. The Chicago Bears will host the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have been viewed as the best all-round team in football for some time, but have not played like it late in the season. The legend of these Bears keeps on growing with resiliency and off-the-field petulance. Will the Rams return to form, or will the Bears run out of luck? We will see. I think the Rams will rise to the occasion. If we are able to look past the issues with the NIL, money, the transfer portal, and the power conferences dominating the governance of the sport, we can see the great stories that will define this college football season and give hope for many programs around the nation. Indiana University is traditionally viewed as a basketball-first school. Not surprising because of the prowess of the late Bobby Knight and his great Hoosier teams. In football, they have struggled mightily for generations, it appears. But not the last 2 seasons. They are in position to capture their first national championship. The obstacle in their way is the potential resurgence of what used to be a blue-chip program in the University of Miami, who have risen out of the ashes of parity to finally find its way to the national championship game. The Hurricanes eliminated the defending champions in the Ohio State Buckeyes and will now have to face the undefeated Hoosiers that have been winning games in blowout fashion. ESPN should have Ryan Day on the broadcast, as he had to face both of these teams in back-to-back games, which is something that must have been very challenging. Losing to Indiana for their first loss followed by losing to Miami for only their second loss of the season. Not a dig at Ryan Day, but he can probably speak to the intricacies of facing both programs, and he is good in the media. I am excited for January 19 as it should be an exciting game. The spread is 8.5 for Indiana, but I would not be surprised if Miami finds a way to win. For me, I am rooting for the lovable loser-turns-champion story. Indiana winning a national championship should inspire other teams to step up their programs. Despite all the angst over the transfer portal and NIL, programs can turn around long periods of losing for prosperity.